Hi guys, today we're going to be learning how to cut and sew this beautiful puff sleeve with elastic. It is quite easy to make. Let's get right into it. So I'm going to use the material I have left from the top I made from the picture you saw. So this is what I have left. So I'm just going to use that to cut it. The first thing we're going to do is to fold our fabric into two, just like I did. So the reason why we are folding it into two is because we want to get both sleeves together. So you fold it into two like this, and then after folding it into two, you're going to slant it. You see, you're going to slant it a little bit. So if you want a bigger puff, you can slant it up till the very end. Yes, up to the very end. But no, we are going to just slant it a little bit because I don't want the sleeve to be too big like this. So after doing that, I'm going to draw a straight line. Please disregard that white line you see there. It is not straight. So I'm using a red colored chalk to draw a straight line across the fabric like this. So if you're working with somebody with a bigger armhole, so you have to make the slant a bit larger so that it can accommodate the armhole. At least you should have like 5 extra inches for the armhole. The extra inches is for the pleat we'll be adding. I hope you can see the red line, the one I drew with the red chalk. So I'm just going to draw it again so you'll be able to see it. So after doing that, I'm going to come to the edge here and I'm going to measure 4 inches down. So that's where we're going to be connecting the curve because it's going to have a little pleat at the top. So for the cap, I'm going to be measuring 3 inches for the cap. So we are following the straight line. So from that 3 inches, I'm just going to connect it down to the 4 inches I measured. So I'm going to use the white chalk so you'll be able to see the lines better. So now the next thing we're going to do is to get the length of our sleeve. So I'm going to be making use of all I have for this fabric. I'm going to be measuring 11 inches because the fabric is not enough at the bottom. So I'm going to be measuring 11 inches. So that is why it is important to get a straight line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure from that straight line and measure the 11 inches round. So I am done measuring it and I have connected the lines. As you can see, it is 11 inches round. So the next thing we're going to do now, after connecting the lines, is to add our allowance. So let me just check if what I have left. So I'm just going to add my allowance. I'm going to be adding 1 extra inches allowance. So that's what we're going to be using to turn it. Sorry, 2 extra inches allowance, and that is what I'm going to be using to turn it because we're going to be passing an elastic through it. So you're just going to measure your 2 inches extra allowance or whatever allowance you want to add. Just make sure that an elastic will be able to pass through it. So as you can see, it's quite easy to cut. It just takes few minutes. So now we're going to be cutting it out with our scissors. Okay, so here it is. We're going to separate it. I'm just going to quickly explain how we're going to do it. So we're going to join it by the side, but we're not going to be measuring the round armhole for now. We're just going to join it by the side since it has pleats at the top, and then we're going to fold this bottom. So if you have an overlock machine, you're going to weave it and fold it at once, then fold the bottom, and then we're going to be adding pleat to it. So I'm going to fold it now for you to see. So here it is. So I've folded the bottom. So before you do yours, especially if you're sewing for a client, a customer, you can just overlock the edge. This dress is for me, so I was in a hurry. That was why I didn't bother to overlock the edge. Don't be like me. So overlock the edge or you fold it twice. And so this is what we have. I've folded it. And now what we're going to do, I've also joined it by the side and I left about 1 inches at the bottom. I didn't close everything. So now we're going to be passing the elastic through it. So I measured about 9 inches for the elastic. It depends on the round sleeve of the person you're working with. So I did not want it to be too tight. The round sleeve is 10.5 and I measured 9 inches. So we're going to be passing this elastic now through the hole. So you can either use something like this, a safety pin. You're just going to attach it and then you pass it. Just going to attach it and then you pass it through it just like this. It's quite easy. So when you're passing it, if it has gotten to the edge, like this, just be careful with it. You're just going to use your machine to run a stitch over it, or you pin it like this and you run a stitch over it later. So you continue to pass it over it till you get to the other end. After passing it round, you're going to double stitch the end, and that's it. So I've done that. The next thing we're going to do now is to attach the sleeve to the armhole. So I'm going to bring my top now and then I'm going to attach it. I've already cut out my armhole. I've double stitched it. So you remember that we notched the edge, the middle of the sleeve. So now we're going to be pinning it. Just watch as I do it. It is quite easy. So you're going to open up the armhole like this and then you're going to open up the sleeve this way at the edge. So you're going to pin both edges together. That's where we have the joining. You're just going to pin it up like this and then you continue pinning it up like this. So you're going to do the same thing for the other side. We're going to pin it till we get to the top and then we're going to just leave a little space, like about 2 inches space, because the pleat is going to be around that side. So you measure about 2 inches. Don't forget to notch the middle. So now after I'm going to notch it again. After notching it, you're just going to place that notch, the place you notch, that's going to be your middle. So you're going to be pinning it on the joining on the shoulder. So I'm just repeating the same thing I did for the other side. I'm going to be pinning it like this. Pin it up to the top part, leave about 2 inches or 2.5 inches. So now after pinning and arranging, this is the excess we have. It is this excess that we're going to be pinning on the joining we have on the shoulder. So you're going to be pin the shoulder, the joining you have at the shoulder. You're going to pin it to the notch you have on your sleeve. So I'm just going to pin it. That way, we're going to be able to share this, the pleat we're going to do equally on the front and the back. So I'm just going to pin the excess we have on the front and also the back like this. So we're going to arrange it this way. Just take your time. You don't need to rush. Just split it like this. So I have 2 plates now and I've used up all this space. So I'm just going to replicate what I did for the front. I'm going to replicate it for the back. I'm just going to pleat the other side too. As you're watching, please do not forget to like, share and subscribe. Drop a comment. I would like to know what your thoughts are on this video, and I'd also like to know if you enjoyed it, so please drop a comment. So here it is. After pinning it, I'm just going to use my machine to sew it round. Yeah, so I'm going to repeat the same thing I did, the pleat and everything. I'm going to repeat it on the other sleeve. So this is how it looks already without even sewing it. Just imagine after sewing it. So I'm going to repeat the same thing. And that's it. Thank you for watching, guys. See you on the next one.